Guys, here with a new video for the channel. I hope you like it, and if you like it, don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now without further ado, get comfortable. Let's begin. All this story would begin in the battle, in which Goku and Vegeta were facing Gas. Since even using their doctrines to the maximum of their powers, they weren't able to do absolutely anything against it. They turned out to be some insects, and you're Saiyan. You remind me of a warrior who got into my plans hundreds of years ago by the name of Bardock. Did you say Bardock? Kakarot, this guy has to do with your father since that was his name. Damn, did you even end my father's life? I won't forgive you! Goku and Vegeta launched themselves against Gas, but they weren't able to do absolutely anything. That's right, the difference in powers was abysmal. However, with every blow that Goku received, loud roars were heard all over the place. Such roars over time even began to be heard by each of the 12 universes. Mr. Beerus, are you able to hear those roars? That's right, Whis. I was able to ask to you about those roars. Don't you know who it's about? As far as I've been able to investigate, it's about Mr. Goku, but it is amazing how despite using the Ultra Instinct, he is suffering a beating. Whis, let's immediately go to Earth, since we can't let Son Goku die. Both deities would go to the Earth quickly, while those roars at this point would even be heard by the High Priest, who, at the moment of hearing them, would change his expression to a much more serious and worried one. What? How's this possible? I thought those apes had been wiped out along with their universes. This can't be happening. Daishoken would remember, like a gigantic hand almost ended his life. If not for his wife Mikoshin, who was able to save him at the last moment, he would not have survived, because the power of those Ozarus was a power that surpassed everything existing. I don't have to overlook this. I'll even have to delay my plan to master Zeno-sama's useless mind. But this is much more important. Daishoken would quickly go to where the roars were perceived. Returning to the battlefield, Goku and Vegeta had been completely defeated. But when they were about to die, the Emperor of Evil, Frieza, would appear on the battlefield.
They are being beaten up by Saiyans. Don't forget that it'll be me who will eliminate you.
Frieza, what are you doing here? How have you been able to find us?
In case you haven't noticed, the power of this guy is incredible, so I am sure you can even feel out in this universe. But I was surprised to realize that even your power decreased.
Another worm has arrived, looking for its death.
The worm you're talking about will be able to end your life without you realizing what happened.
Gas, upset by that comment, without thinking about it, had launched himself against Frieza at his maximum speed, but he was surprised to realize that the Emperor of Evil would begin to exchange blows at his speed, and even perceived to overcome him. After a few minutes, both appeared, however, Gas was observed with multiple wounds, while Frieza was very relaxed, but Goku was with a face of terror, realizing that Frieza had not agreed to his golden.
Frieza, how'd you get all that power? I can't believe it! As I've told you, Saiyans, I'm a prodigy. I've trained these 10 years, which have passed, and feel lucky as you will be the first to observe my new transformation.
Frieza's power would begin to overflow, so much that even Whis' gaze would change since he was about to arrive on planet Earth. Great distortions of energy could be felt. Whose power is this? This power could easily surpass even Mr. Beerus. I can assure you that he is at 35% of the power of an angel. Frieza had been able to access his new transformation, which he would be named as Black Frieza. Everyone present was surprised, while Gas, without caring, the pressure that his enemy emanated would be launched against Frieza, but it would be pierced with a single blow. That's right, Frieza was able to end Gas's life with a single blow. I end the life of Gas in one fell swoop. This is amazing. But Frieza, in the same way, without letting them react, would grant a blow to Goku and Vegeta, despite both being in their doctrines. They were not able to dodge the powerful blow that Frieza had granted them. So they both fell to the ground in their base state, but something very strange was happening with Son Goku, because at the moment, several roars in a row would be heard all over the place, while his power would begin to grow in an incredible way. Hey, Whis, what's wrong with Son Goku? And how is Frieza able to get all that power? I don't have an answer for any of your two questions, Mr. Beerus, but Mr. Goku's power is being raised in such an impressive way that I'm not able to assimilate it. That's right, Goku's body was releasing an amazing power, but for all the 12 universes, a big voice would resonate.
Finally, we've been able to crack this seal. We're back.
All this would be heard over the 12 universes, which Daishiken would absolutely panic.
Damn, they weren't able to be eliminated. But who seals them on Son Goku's body? Is that why he's able to access the Ultra Instinct?
Daishiken would arrive, instantly prostrating himself in front of Goku while putting on a very serious look.
Daishiken-sama, please help me. I don't know what's wrong with me, but my body hurts too much. I feel like I'm going to explode.
Of course I'll help you, Son Goku. But the best thing I could do for you is to end your life.
Daishiken would throw a great beam of energy, being able to cut off a large part of Son Goku's back, so he would fall to the ground on the verge of death. While Goku seemed to have been knocked out, but a great light would be able to cover his entire body. However, this would only happen in his mind, but was able to observe a large claw.
Where am I? Am I even dead? Daishiken had treacherously attacked me.
Son Goku, you were the seal that tried to keep you, but currently you are considered the bearer of the 12 sacred beasts.
Bearer of the 12 sacred beasts?
That's right. Although currently there's only me left, since I, being the supreme sacred Ozarus, was the one creating the remaining 12 sacred beasts.
I really don't understand anything you're telling me, but I can't do anything since Daishiken's planning to finish me.
Don't worry about that. Daishiken, he's still a kid compared to my power.
Daishiken was slowly moving towards Goku, intending to end his life once and for all.
Yes, the 12 sacred beasts are sealed in Son Goku's body. I'm sure that with his death, those beasts will finally cease to exist.
Daishiken would stretch out his hand, but seconds before executing his attack, his hand would be sliced into hundreds of parts, which caused too much blood to spread all over the battlefield. Even Frieza was surprised because the pressure that the Great Priest was releasing was incredible.
Did you think that you'd be able to finish us, right? I don't know how the hell you managed to manipulate Zeno-sama.
This is impossible, damn beasts. You should have died a millennia ago.
Well, you're wrong, priest. Even though Zeno-sama destroyed the 6 universes, we were sealed by the Queen of the Underworld, but we never knew where she sealed us.
Damn, I understand everything now. They were sealed in the most resistant body that could exist, but if he's pure of heart, you'll be able to be its bearer. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You really are the great priest, since your cognitive ability is amazing, but it won't be enough for you to survive before us.
Daishiken, without being able to observe anything, would be sent flying with multiple wounds all over his body. That's right, the power that Goku possessed was supernatural, so much that even his body itself would begin to expel large amounts of blood due to the excess of power.
Whis, what's going on? That's really Son Goku we know?
Of course it's not, Mr. Beerus, since the Goku we know. Goku would observe Frieza with a look that imposed respect. Frieza, with great anger, would pounce against Goku, but to his surprise, with a slight blow to his stomach, he was able to bend him, and even make him lose his transformation, falling to his knees completely.
I've wiped out hundreds of your race in the past, and it's a shame that their power's still so pathetic. Stay away from here, since you directly saved my wielder's life.
Goku would stretch out one of his hands, with which he was able to stop Daishiken's fist. The battle of both warriors was the most catastrophic battle in the last 100,000 years. Since their fists were capable of destroying planets, Goku at the moment falls to the ground vomiting blood.
Damn this body. It's still not able to withstand the power of the 12 sacred beasts. Even if I continue with this battle, we'll both lose our lives.
Holy beast, I can tell you're still maintaining colossal power, but Son Goku's body's not able to withstand it.
You're right, but this is enough. I just want you to know that the next time we meet, only one of the two will come out alive.
You're very wrong, Sacred Ozarus. I know how dangerous you can become, so I'm not gonna let you escape.
You don't have the ability to stop me. Release of sacred consciousness.
A gigantic Ozarus would be formed all over the place, and with one roar, it was able to shake all the universes. That roar had been a powerful sonic wave, which had left the Great Priest on the verge of death, which, when he received it completely.
Damn, I feel like my life's about to come to an end. How is he able to cause me so much damage with a simple sonic slingshot?
Daishoken would be knocked out of combat due to the incredible damage he received, so Whis would come to his aid quickly, but he was still surprised. I can't believe it! How were we able to withstand all that attack? If even my angelic barrier was not able to bear it, even though I used all my power. Whis was with his Bakulo, was able to help his father recover completely. However, he was still out of combat. Meanwhile, in a very different place, even when it seemed to be outside of the 12 universes, since no present was perceived, Goku would fall to the ground with mortal wounds, while his whole body swelled and expelled too much blood. Damn, this hurts. Hurts a lot. I don't know what the hell the Holy Ozarus is, but you've left my body in terrible condition.
You don't have to worry. Since you being my carrier, you have to be able to possess the most incredible resistance of any warrior.
Goku would begin to recover thanks to the help of the Sacred Ozarus, who was repairing all the internal damage that his excess of power had caused. Meanwhile, in a very distant place, a beautiful woman with black hair, as Night, would realize that the seal had been broken. Wow, apparently Bayako, the Sacred Ozarus, has been able to break the seal. Or was he able to make the worthy warrior its barrier? This would be very interesting. The Queen of Destruction would begin to laugh sadistically, remembering she had previously eradicated hundreds of universes with a flame that possessed. If the Sacred Ozarus returns, that means that we can have fun again like we did before. I want to end every one of the scum of all universes. Return to Goku, he was mediating due to the incredible damage he had suffered. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, Vegeta was very thoughtful due to the incredible power that Goku had released.
Kakarot, what's happened to you? Where have you been able to release all that power from? And why did the Great Priest Daishoken want to end your life? I have a lot of questions.
On the planet of Beers, both deities would be walking around the planet while the High Priest recovers from all the wounds caused by the Sacred Roar.
Hey Whis, what was the power that Son Goku released? He was even able to get the Great Priest almost annihilated.
You are correct, Mr. Beerus, but I have no idea, since the power I released was not able to perceive it, so it must be in another dimension very far from ours.
I can't believe that Goku's body is able to withstand the power of another dimension. It was said that even the power of a king at all would explode.
But at that moment, the entire planet of Beerus would begin to shake. That's right, because Daishoken had awakened, and when he remembered the Sacred Ozarus, he had released all his power at once, so the planet they were on had blown into hundreds of pieces. Daishoken's power had been so great, he was able to even make everything around him shake, causing Whis and Beerus to fall to the ground due to the great pressure the High Priest was releasing.
Holy Ozarus, I swear I'll end your miserable life and that of your carrier.
When Daishoken realized how all the planets of the 12 universes were being destroyed, he would calm down, being able to put all his power back to rest, so he would help Whis and Beerus recover.
Hey Whis, what happened to Son Goku? Do you know where he went?
No, Father, I don't know where Son Goku went, but he shouldn't be very far away, because by using all that power, his body was in terrible condition.
No, Whis, we should not underestimate Son Goku, as he's able to finish us. He possesses the power of the Sacred Ozarus.
But Father, what do you mean by the power of the Sacred Ozarus?
This is not the time for explanations about the power of the Sacred Ozarus. Just know that it is a potential threat to all universes.
Daishoken would quickly leave to the palace of the Kingdom of Everything to report everything that happened to the great Zeno-sama. Meanwhile, in a place very far from everything existing, Goku would begin to stand up, but something inside him had changed. How long has it been? I feel like I've been sleeping for a long time. But from his aura, a gigantic Ozarus would materialize in front of Goku, so Goku was very surprised because the power that he could feel from that giant Ozarus. What are you? Was it you saved my life?
Apparently you don't remember anything that happened, but I'll help you remember.
The Ozaru of an incredible roar was able to make Goku remember the fight they had against Daishinkan, and how he was able to release the power of the Sacred Ozaru.
So you're the Sacred Ozaru, but how did I become your bearer? I still don't understand that.
Hundreds of years ago, we faced this multiverse for a mission that was entrusted to us, but it was all a trap for the Divine Kingdom.
Flashback. Warriors of incredible powers were destroying everything around them, even being able to endanger the very existence. So the most powerful being of all existing, called the Sacred Ozaru, would come to end this great threat.
But I'm not able to see any warrior. What is this all about?
But with a great attack of energy, they were able to hurt the Ozaru a little, which was off guard, so the whole Divine World, led by Daishinkan and Zeno-sama, had launched themselves against him, starting with a great battle. However, despite overcoming him by dozens of warriors, it was impossible for them to contain the supreme Sacred Ozaru. So, with an incredible roar, he was able to burst the eardrums of all his opponents. The only ones left standing were Zeno-sama and Daishinkan. However, his power to deal with the Sacred Ozaru was very limited.
I didn't think you'd have to access my combat form to take down a simple ape like you are.
The power of Zeno-sama was increasing in an incredible way, so much so that on this occasion it seemed to be on par with the Sacred Ozaru. However, throughout the universes, catastrophes began to occur, and this was not due to Zeno-sama's power release. On the contrary, the power of the Sacred Ozaru had been released.
King of all, Zeno-sama, I never wanted an enemy with you, but you really have left me no alternative.
The Sacred Ozaru would throw an incredible attack against Zeno-sama, while he would say to himself,
I have to do absolutely nothing for now, as I'm sure that I'll be sealed and that in that case I'll be able to return so millions of years will pass.
Zeno-sama, with his great ability to eliminate everything, was able to pulverize the attack of the Sacred Ozaru. But when trying to eliminate it with his ability, it was impossible for him.
Death would have been much better for you, but now you'll be sealed for all eternity. I don't know why they feared you if you're a simple ant.
The great Sacred Ozaru was sealed, in the most resistant body of all the universes. So the seal had traveled all the 12 universes until finding the body of Son Goku, who was the low-class warrior, but with the talent to even surpass all the kings of the whole. And flashback.
Did Zeno-sama really betray you? If he seems like an excellent person and he's my best friend, I can't take in what you're telling me.
Believe it or not, that's what really happened. And even the priest, realizing your power, wanted to finish you off. Tell me, why didn't Zeno-sama pregame you?
I absolutely don't understand anything. I'm sure Zeno-sama wouldn't do something like that to me.
Let's do something. I'll send a part of you to the Kingdom of the Whole, and if they really don't try to attack you, you will do absolutely nothing. Do you agree?
Okay, I'll prove you completely wrong.
The Sacred Ozaru, with his great power, was able to send a small real essence of Goku to the kingdom of the great Zeno-sama. So Goku would arrive, but when he was received, he realized that Daishinkan and Zeno-sama were chatting, but his pressure would make him fall to the ground.
But what's going on, Zeno-sama? I thought we were friends. Why are you doing this? You are my best friend, but I can't allow you to be much more powerful than me, so it's better that you die.
The great Zeno-sama would try to annihilate Goku, but the essence was able to return. Entering his original body, Goku's gaze would change drastically.
I don't want to involve anyone else in this total destruction, but we will finish with that bastard who calls himself Zeno-sama. I won't forgive him.
Okay, but we must both form a great connection between my bearer and I, who am the great Sacred Ozaru.
Of course we will. You have my full permission.
But all over the place, the atmosphere changed quickly, turning a purple color, similar to the energy of the destruction of the gods, but the energy was much more aggressive, since the presence that was perceived was even of another level.
Damn it. Right now the Queen of Destruction's coming. It's not the best time.
Holy Ozaru, long time no see. Do you want to fight with me a little? Since I've been really bored.
The Sacred Ozaru was not able to say anything, as several runes would appear all over the face of the Queen of Destruction, while in the palm of her hand she carried an incredible power.
Sacred Protection!
The incredible energy barrier would be placed in front of both of them, but the power of the Queen of Destruction was unreal, so the barrier was able to barely withstand it.
Long time no see, Queen of Destruction. Of course I'll love to fight with you, but now I have to merge with my carrier completely.
So the seal I give you if it served you, but why would you merge with it? It's much easier and more fun if you end his pathetic life.
Goku wasn't able to move even a little bit due to the incredible power the Queen of Destruction was releasing. That's right, the power she was able to transmit through the air was amazing, so much so that it even left the warrior like Son Goku without movement.
What is this pressure? Even though it doesn't hurt me, I'm not able to move a single one of my fingers. But it is unbelievable that you're able to stand in front of me, the Queen of Destruction.
So you really want to give fun to me one more month, please? Since Gen's the time I see plan to master all my sacred power.
Okay, I feel like finishing off all the gods, angels, and kings all together. What fun that will be.
The Queen of Destruction would leave the place, but Goku with a very serious look would stand in front of the Ozaru.
I hope you remember that I asked you that we'll only finish with the beings of the Kingdom of Everything. We'll not finish with innocent beings.
Yes, I know, don't worry. But in order to be able to put our authority over her, we'll have to have much higher power than hers.
Goku and the sacred Ozaru began to unite, becoming one being. Meanwhile, on the planet of Beerus, both deities were equally very thoughtful.
Whis, what do you think Son Goku is really the villain of this story?
I'm thinking exactly the same of you, Mr. Beerus. My father and the king at all are not telling us something of the utmost importance.
In this case, we'll have to take a look for the necessary answers.
Both deities will quickly leave in search of answers, since at this time, the Super Dragon Balls had been enabled again. So both deities would gather the 7 spheres, summoning the Super Dragon God Zalma.
You who have gathered the 7 Dragon Balls, tell me, what is your wish?
I want you to give us all the permission about the sacred Ozaru and what happened in the past.
Zalma's eyes shone, so at the moment all the knowledge had been sent to both deities through mental power. The Dragon Zalma would rise to the top of the Universe 7 until disappearing so the Super Dragon Balls would spread again.
Lord Beerus, my father and the king of all, does not want there to be beings more powerful than him. That's why they decided to betray the sacred Ozaru.
In that case, Whis, despite not having enough power, I don't plan to let Goku fight alone in this great battle.
Both deities likewise would quickly return to the planet Earth, informing everything to the warriors, but Vegeta would step forward.
I'll go along with them to where Kakarot is, Gohan. You stay on this planet so that you're in charge of protecting it. I trust in you.
Of course, Mr. Vegeta. I'll protect her even with my life.
The 3 warriors left the planet of Beerus, all starting to train, because Whis tried to locate Goku for the 12 universes, but it was in vain. Meanwhile, with the Queen of Destruction, 2 weeks had passed since that event, so I would come again with the Sacred Ozaru. But this time, I was a little surprised to observe an imposing warrior with golden fur all over his body, while he destroyed hundreds of planets as if they were simple rocks.
Those planets are the so-called sacred planets, planets that have the hardness to withstand the combat of 2 immortal sacred beings. But if you've returned the Queen of Destruction, not only 2 more weeks will we be able to leave this whole place. Now that I'm able to realize that you have much more power, I want to have a fight with you. I want to test the limit of your power. Okay, just don't go regretting what you've asked, because I'm not going to hold back.
Goku would expel a large part of his new power, with which he would cause hundreds of damages all over the place. Even a golden great light would rise to the top of the whole place, while the Queen of Destruction would form a red aura.
I hope you're prepared, as only the Holy Ozaru is able to make me use all my power. Don't forget that although I only look like a sacred Ozaru, there were a total of 12 sacred Ozarus in my body.
When Goku finished affirming this, he would grant him a powerful blow on the stomach of the Queen, which, despite being with her guardian aloft, it was impossible for her to dodge such an attack.
How were you able to hit me with that incredible power?
The Queen would recover from that blow, and at great speed would throw herself against Goku, who would begin to clash their fists all over the place. So much was the power of both that the same dimension began to crack. Goku, realizing this, would begin to neutralize each of the blows, which would anger the Goddess of Destruction.
Damn it! Are you really that much more powerful than the Holy Ozaru in his prime? This is impossible! It's not impossible, since I, being the bearer of the Sacred Ozaru, have the necessary stamina to withstand all its power. Infernal whirlwind! Atomic destruction!
an incredible purple whirlwind would form on top of the queen, so she would throw it to Goku without thinking twice, but was surprised to realize through the fire Goku would show himself without a scratch.
You'll be a very powerful ally, but to defeat me, you'll have to train much harder, since this is not all my power yet.
Goku would clench one of his fists, and at a great speed, he would grant her a great blow, which would send her flying, making her fall out of combat. Goku, with his new power, the Sacred Ozarus, would begin to channel all the power that his body was capable of resisting. While the Queen of Destruction was still out of combat, Goku was even able to see a large golden light all over the place he was. But to everyone's surprise, several chains were able to hold Goku's arms.
That's the same thing I thought. Even our own power tries to stop us.
That's because you don't have the Sacred Ozarus training. That's why even your body refuses to admit the full power of the 12 Sacred Ozarus.
Damn, I want to master all this power. From what I understood, I've been able to master the 11 Sacred Ozarus, but I'm missing one. And that's you.
Of course, yes. But you lack me, since the other Sacred Ozarus were an extension of my body. For that reason, my power is even greater than the 11 Sacred Ozarus combined. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of the All Daishanken and Zeno-sama were very thoughtful.
This has been a damn trap, and we've fallen like we're all some kinds of kids.
I'll have to access my combat status like I did millions of years ago. The great Zeno-sama would begin to access his combat state, which on this occasion released a much greater power than the last time, because the energy of the 6 eliminated universes had become part of his power. Zeno-sama's power has increased in an incredible way. I'm sure he'll be able to end that Ozarus' life in one fell swoop. The true disappearance of Zeno-sama would become apparent. After millions of years, that's right, this was the second time to access his combat state, and it was due to the same warrior from the past.
With this power, I'll end that garbage once and for all. I'm fed up, and I want to have his head on my palace as a prize.
Great Zeno-sama, feeling his power, we have nothing to worry about, because even by absorbing the energy of the 6 eliminated universes, his power has risen much more.
I don't worry about anything. Even if before that Ozarus in his prime wasn't able to do anything to me, what will he do now to me that it's sealed?
That Sacred Ozarus, with the passage of time, he'd better call himself the good-for-nothing Ozarus. Meanwhile, on the planet Beerus, Vegeta was carrying out one of the most difficult trainings of his entire life to be able to do something against the most powerful divine beings of all the universes. Damn! Will always be number 2. I want to be much more powerful. I don't want to stay behind anymore. An incredible roar would be heard all over the place, while the energy of destruction that was directed towards the Prince of the Saiyans by Beerus would be stopped by a simple aura. But something incredible would happen, since Vegeta's body was able to absorb the essence of a god of destruction, so his aura would even change to a purple color, becoming much more destructive. From a powerful roar, Vegeta would grow his aura up to the sky, and at the end, the imposing Vegeta in his doctrine of the Ultra Ego. Well, I realize that your efforts have been worthwhile, Vegeta. You're not able to control the Ultra Instinct, but you were able to master the Ultra Ego. I don't plan to stay behind anymore, and I'll be the one who traces his destiny. I don't plan to let anything or anyone tell me what my limits are. Mr. Vegeta, the power that you've achieved is incredible. I'm 100% that you are able to defeat all the gods of destruction with the exception of one. What is it that you said, Whis? With the permission of one? Don't talk nonsense. The only beings who are capable of defeating me are the angels and that bastards of the kingdom of everything. It's a pity, Vegeta. You have amazing power, but before the most powerful god of all, you still wouldn't be able to defeat him. And tell me, Beerus-sama, who's the most powerful god of destruction? You have it right in front of you. So you want to test 100% of all your power? You better fight with me and show me what you've learned. I've never had a chance to fight you since I got the power of a god, so this will be interesting. Before you attack, Vegeta, I want you to use all your power, because if you're like Goku, I'll annihilate you with one blow. The words of Beerus had released awe-inspiring, which Vegeta's body would notice, so he would begin to tremble. What the hell is this feeling? I see Beerus as if he were a giant while I was a simple ant. Vegeta would raise his power to the limit to have a balance between speed and power, so at the end he'd observe Beerus, who would raise both hands. And signal that attack, Vegeta, a little annoyed with his maximum power, would throw himself against Beerus, who began to exchange millions of blows at amazing speeds. But as surprising as it may seem, Beerus began to bend Vegeta little by little with his incredible defense. Damn, he didn't even hit me. How am I able to know he's cornering me with his simple defense? Vegeta would take a little distance, so Beerus at that moment would stare at him. Vegeta, your power has grown in an amazing way, but it's a pity that you're still not worthy of making me use 100% of all my power. Damn, I thought that with all this power I'd be able to defeat Beerus-sama. No, I'm the Prince of the Saiyans. I'm the mighty Vegeta. Vegeta, with much more power, which his body was able to withstand, had thrown himself against Beerus. But his speed had drastically decreased, so it was impossible for him to give a blow to Beerus. Returning to Goku, he was thinking how to be able to access all the power of the Sacred Ozaru. There is a way that you'll be able to get your body to accept my power, since it's not able to accept it, because previously it was one that was holding me back. What's that shape you're talking about? The Saiyans, like the Ozarus, we're able to increase our powers through pain or anger. That is our energy catalyst. What is it you want to tell me? Do you want me to suffer or have uncontrolled anger? It's the only way I can think of. Or we can have real battles. That'd be much more dangerous, and since we don't know if we'll be able to get out alive. How funny you are, Sacred Ozaru. But if you're the danger you're asking for, I have the right warrior. We will call the Apostle of Death. Even the Sacred Ozaru seemed to have gone into a bit of panic. You're crazy. I'd be crazy. Nothing. And no one knows where the Apostle of Death is. The Sacred Ozaru would remember that look, which did not express any expression. That's right, the Apostle of Death was characterized because of the murderous fist that he was able to bestow. Even the Sacred Ozaru that had faced the Apostle of Death millions of years ago was not able to defeat him. You know I like destruction, Sacred Ozaru. That's why it's my nickname, the Queen of Destruction. And it's a shame, since I've been able to summon the Apostle of Death. Goku at the moment was able to observe how a coffin had been formed by a place where they would be seeing a little surprise, but without giving it greater importance, a great whirlwind would enter the coffin. Wake up, Apostle of Death! Two hands held the coffin. Coming out of his great long sleep at the moment of leaving, said coffin, an extremely muscular warrior could be observed, which possessed his silver hair very similar to the Ultra Instinct. Who had been able to wake me from my long sleep? Whatever it was, right now I'm thinking of ending his pathetic existence. From what I understand, it was the Golden Fur Warrior. It seemed that he wanted to measure his strength with that of the most powerful warrior in existence. Goku, be on your guard. Don't trust yourself, as this will be the battle to the death. That damn worm doesn't know what a workout is. I feel you two are exaggerating too much, since I don't feel like I exude a powerful essence. But Goku's expression would change to a much more serious one when he realized how the Apostle of Death was beginning to approach himself. And with each of his steps, the pressure that was falling all over the place was incredible. So much so that Goku had to raise a large part of all his power, simply to be able to withstand that pressure. Why are you walking away? Didn't you want to try all my power? This is here in front of you. The warrior, of a great blow in the air, was able to cause a powerful fist under pressure, which was able to open a whole chest to Goku, so Goku would spit out too much blood. It hurt me. How's he able to hurt me so much in one blow? He's a monster. In this battle, your body must adapt to at least 80% of all my power. Otherwise, we'll die. But Goku wasn't able to completely recover because in front of Goku was a few centimeters from his face, the Angel of Death was staring at him. Without Goku being able to react, he was able to receive a direct blow on his stomach. But although it seemed like a simple blow, the power of the blow was overwhelming. He was able to spit out large amounts of blood to Goku, so he couldn't stand up. He had even returned to his base state, finding himself in terrible condition. That cursed Queen of Destruction! How was she able to summon that demon? This being, I'm sure, is capable of ending Zeno-sama's life without any effort. Goku, stand up, because the Apostle of Death doesn't spare the life of any warrior. so you better get ready well.
Goku in a lot of pain, even with most of his bones broken, would stand.
We'll have to access the Holy Super Saiyan from the beginning.
Goku would begin to try to access the Super Saiyan Sacred, but it was impossible for him due to the incredible pressure that was on his entire body. But everyone present was surprised to hear how the voice of the Apostle of Death would resonate through the place.
Don't worry, take your time, because I want to end your life when I'm using 100% of all your power. This bastard's completely underestimating me, and I'm not going to let him!
Goku, with a little more tranquility, he would try to access the Super Saiyan Sacred God, starting to go through each of his transformations until acquiring his characteristic gold fur all over his body.
I'm ready, but no matter what happens, I'm not gonna die in this place, so get ready!
Goku, with his maximum power, and even the power of the Sacred Ozarus at 54% affinity, had launched themselves against the Apostle of Death. But each of their blows were useless, since the Apostle's resistance was hundreds of times more than Goku's resistance.
I hope you're done, since I've let myself get hit by millions of attacks. Now it's my turn.
Goku was not able to move, and would watch as the Apostle of Death would carry a great energy in one of his fists. But to everyone's surprise, the Apostle of Death would fade away, returning everything to normal. I thought you'd be able to do something against the Apostle of Death, since even I have been easily defeated. Oh, what the hell was that? Oh, where did he go? The Apostle of Death possesses such great power that millions of years ago the omnipotent gods granted him a curse.
A curse? What's that curse you're talking about?
The Apostle of Death is only able to rise, as the Goddess of Peace is able to bestow a little of her blood in his cursed coffin. But I wasn't able to see any of the other goddesses besides you. Believe it or not, millions of years ago, I was considered the Goddess of Peace and Reminiscence. So I'm the only one to invoke the Apostle of Death at will. Goku would be very surprised by the information that had been released to him. Meanwhile, in the kingdom as a whole, Zeno-sama, along with Daishaken, had called a meeting to all the gods and angels in the place. I have to absorb all the gods and angels, as I'm sure the power of the Sacred Ozarus must be increased.
But sir, you beat him earlier.
That's right, but the rumors say that the Queen of Destruction is allied with that bastard, so I'm not gonna trust myself. I'm planning to end that Sacred Ozarus once and for all. What will happen next? Find out in the next chapter. Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.
Try good.